Right now, let's talk about four-day week. And the world's biggest trial of a four-day working week has been held, a major breakthrough after most of the companies involved said they will keep to the shorter working week following the pilot. Some say they'll keep it for good. Let's talk to Joe Ryle, who's director of the four-day week campaign. Good morning to you.
Morning.
I'm glad that this story has come out on a day you're working, Joe. That makes life easier for us, doesn't it? 61 companies across various sectors in the UK, they cut their working hours for all staff by 20% for 6 months for the last half of last year, but they kept their pay to 100%. Everyone, well, most people seem to be quite happy with it, even the bosses.
Yeah, I mean, it's a major breakthrough for the movement towards a four-day week because across a wide variety of sectors of the economy, construction, manufacturing, retail, hospitality, and they've all done it in their own way. They've all reduced hours by 80%, but maintained pay. And it's been a win-win for both the workers and the employer. You know, well-being benefits are kind of more obvious and people are living much happier, more rested lives. But on the other side, business performance and productivity is being maintained. So we're really happy with the results.
Well, it completely depends on the kind of business. You know, I worked in hospitality, worked as a waitress for many years. I can't just say, well, I'll serve twice as many customers on a Thursday, but I won't turn up on a Friday. The customers won't mind. I mean, you're a big factory, you know, making cars. You can't just, let's just turn the machines off on a Friday. I mean, it seems to me that this works perfectly well for people who are sitting in an office, who are maybe, you know, these interminable Zoom meetings and shuffling paper around, that could make sense. But for actual jobs where you're, awful phrase, customer facing, if you're actually providing a service there and then, I'm not sure how it works.
Well, there's different ways of implementing it. And of course, we're not talking about a four-day week for everyone overnight. There's going to have to be a transition to get there. And, you know, we recognise that these companies that are moving to a four-day week are doing it in which a society where the five-day working week still dominates. But what we're talking about is, you know, we want the four-day week to be the normal way of working by the end of this decade. And we need government, trade unions, business leaders working together to make it work in each industry. And these companies have shown that it's possible. They've shown that it can be done.
Oh, but these are the companies that volunteered for this, so they're more likely to want to do it. The bosses are happy with it. One of my problems with people working from home, well, we know this is very, very obvious what's happening to productivity, particularly in the public sector in the last few years. Plummeting productivity because people are not being supervised. They're not going into the office and having that sort of, you know, can-do, you know, get on with it attitude that people should have in an office. But often bosses are quite happy to agree because it means they do less work as well. I'm not entirely sure that this flies in terms of the message it sends out. Because if you are able to get 5 days work done in 4 days, which is what we're saying here, what you're basically telling me is you've been slacking a fifth of the time for the last few years. That's what I'm hearing.
Well, no, I mean, if we take productivity as a metric, I mean, the UK is has some of the, well, it's dire in the UK. You know, we have some of the lowest levels of productivity while working some of the longest hours. So, you know,
no. Being in the office, some of the longest hours. Loads of people do bugger all most of the time they're in the office. I know I've worked with these people. But
I don't think that's true. I think people are working hard. You know, we literally work the longest working hours in Europe. And none of these, you know, it's no way to run an economy. Being burnt out, stressed, overworked, working 40
there's
hours
presenteeism.
or more a week.
No. If it's presenteeism, it's being in the office. It's everyone sending non-stop, utterly pointless Zoom meetings at which nothing is decided or achieved. Everyone's CCing everyone in an email, so it uses up everyone's time. I mean, I could sort out productivity in this country over things.
Well, we'll sign you up to the campaign. This is exactly some of the things we've been looking at, you know, and the companies have been strategic about it. They've not just sort of gone into it. They spent a couple of months preparing, and they're looking at how they can improve the output of their organisation, how everyone can more cohesively work together to achieve the output and the aim.
But hold on a minute, look, a year ago, I moved to work, well, being on air Monday to Thursday, but I work on Sundays to prep my show on Monday and set it up. So I was sort of doing a 6-day week effectively, and I wanted to move to a 5-day week, so the Sunday to Thursday. But when I'm not here on a Friday, Jeremy Kyle is here or other people stand in for either him or me. Someone else has to be employed. A company still has, you know, most businesses still have to employ someone to do that job. How does that work?
Yeah, well, as we've seen with many of the companies that have taken part, many of them have been able to maintain that 5-day coverage by being more creative with their shift and rota patterns to ensure the coverage over 5 days. But, you know, staff are only doing 4 days. And it makes sense. You think about a kind of media organisation or a press office, you know, people do their 4 days, it's very intense work, but then they have that extra day off, and then other staff are doing the other days, and it just works much better. You come in back to work on a Monday morning, better rested. You know, you're happier, you're feeling more fulfilled in your life, but you're also just performing better in your job.
We will see how it works, given that we're going to have an ageing fewer workforce and an ageing population, everyone working fewer hours. I'm not sure how it works. Joe Ryle from the 4-Day Week campaign, thank you very much. This is Talk Breakfast.